Hey there folks, and welcome to another 650 pp. In this 650 pp tryouts, I am doing the Jaguar D-Type 1954. So here's a list of the things you can do to the Jaguar D-Type 1954. But yeah, for 1954, this car is very surprising for a race car, I gotta say. I say, surprising loosely, because at least it hits 650 pp, unlike certain Alfa Romeo, I'll just say that. But this is one of the ones that can hit, for a heritage race car, can hit 650 pp, which is pretty good where it sits, I must say. Hitting almost 400 horsepower, which is, I believe, max out horsepower, by the way. Max horsepower, I think it weighs a bit more than the usual, I believe, and then torque is 338.5 foot-per-pound, which is pretty crazy. But yeah, there is no wide body for this because it is a heritage race car. So I'm just gonna say, as the saying goes for a heritage race car, don't expect a whole lot for this. But luckily, at least there's one thing you can do. You can at least change the rims on it. So in case you don't like those weird old style rims, you can always just change them out for some different ones. Probably, if I had to say what kind of rims I'd probably change it to, probably something like that a little bit. I don't know if the bronze color does kind of work well with the British green, or old style British green. Okay, you can go full wides if you really want to custom rims. You just can't go full wides with the regular ones. And then for you can at least change the light bulbs, at least. Because yeah, fun fact, you probably noticed in the upgrade shop that I wasn't able to buy carbon brakes. Yeah, this doesn't have carbon brakes. This has regular brake disc, I believe. So just to say, so here's the setup for the car, which is body height 130 at anti-roll bars of 5. I guess the one thing I changed there. And then for differential gear, I adjust the torque to 5, acceleration 10, sensitivity, and the brake into 5 because of its brakes. But we'll get to that more later. Its ballast is also 5 with balance position of 4 because it doesn't really have a spoiler, so you just have to, weight adjust it. You want the most use out of it. With a power restrictor of 92, and that's basically about it you can do to it. Besides add a supercharger S and an intercooler, which is one of the cases I had to use supercharger S. But yeah, no vinyl because I'm using the vinyl it's on, which is an old style vinyl it's known for. So the Jaguar D-Type 1954 is a Le Mans racer of, I believe, 1953, 1954, and maybe 1955, maybe. Probably not 55. But yeah, this is a Le Mans racer of that kind back then. So back then, we didn't have like LMPs or anything. We had something like this instead. We had heritage racers that were built like regular cars, but built more of a racer stance style. And this is just how it was. And that all changed around, I want to say, right at 1970, because that's when the 917K kind of exists, and the whole design of Le Mans changed after that, basically, to more of a paint car we know of today. But back then, this is what it used to look like. What's that? That is say for its turning acceleration, I have to say kind of balanced overall for the turning acceleration. It feels like a standard car at the end of the day, with a bit more ground to it. What it feels like, even with these big old tires to it. If there's one thing you need to watch out whenever it comes to driving this, if you ever do high-speed braking, you need to brake in advance because if you don't, this car will not brake good enough sometimes. And you will get a result. a very bad result sometimes. So make sure if you ever do high-speed braking, try to gentrify that, or you just get a really bad result. I would say for a old style 1950s, it surprisingly drives pretty well. If there's one thing I probably will mention too, it's probably a little bit narrow, so you have to, like, example what just happened there on that turn, you just tried to wheel it out. You do have to kind of gentrify it every now and then, just to keep it going. Which is, I mean, go figure, 1954, for God's sake, it's like 70 years old. It's like 71 years old, to be exact. Like 71, 72 years at this point. Is that old, people? And to even see this as a car still going to this day is an incredible sight to see, and a very expensive car to see. I don't remember the price though. I think it was like 8 to 6 mil. It's like 6 mil to 8 mil. It's not as crazy as other contenders where cars shouldn't ever hit that high, but oh, let's just have them hit them high anyways. McLaren F1. But for an old car of its time, this car is a pretty masterpiece. And a winner of an old time of Le Mans, basically. But yeah, I will say, I will definitely change the design in the future, because I don't really kind of take care for it, but I am doing it just for this one case. I will, when it comes back to what I believe is the better stance for this car, which I will say, if I have a stance to say where it should actually be at, I would say at 600 pp instead. Because it feels a lot better there than here. Here it's not bad, but I might as well, I need an example. This is an example I got. Because just to say, the E-Type is not fast enough. So D-Type's just a bit better. We're hitting 114.4 there, which is not bad, but I don't think it's not crazy. And stuff like that. But we're on to the final lap of the Will Street Springs, and this is essentially the best lap, so let's see how good this is. 113.895, that doesn't be a whole lot, it only at best beats the accident right now, but still not bad. 113.8 puts it really close to like the Miata RX and the Chevy GT350, so see how close this gets here. If it gets that high, that's kind of very impressive, I gotta say, because as a reminder, you don't have brake disc or very good brake rotors and stuff, so you have to deal with a whole more braking than usual as a result. Let's see on the whip around here. It's turning in pretty good. 317 cut there. Around a bunch of turns here and onto the last big old roundabout. Diving in and going in. Let's see, 111, 112, 113.251. That's pretty good. That basically beat everyone except the Ferrari 308 UTP. So, didn't beat that, but not surprised. Now on to the Deep Forest Raceway, which is balanced momentum, so a very balanced momentum track, so let's see how well it does here. I will say for speed wise it does pretty good for that part. Momentum wise, which is a reason to go around a balanced track, is not the greatest as shown. It could really break itself sometimes. But let's see here on the roundabout. So let's just go down through the forest way here and then onto the big straightaway. At the cliff side. Okay, I got the Viper Grade 4 on the race again. The Copperhead Viper. Special edition with the Viper detune. But yeah, for a Jaguar though, like I said, this is kind of a fun Jaguar for a class itself. But yeah, the whole brake thing is the one thing I don't understand, because that still feels like something you should be able to just do no matter what. And the reason why I say that is because At first I thought it was for old cars, but then I gotta remember the Celica rally car and I believe the Impreza rally car, you can't change their brakes whatsoever as a result. For like not much of a reason. I don't know what's like, you know, what's the real reason to that, but at the end of the day you just cannot change your brakes. You know, that feels like just an interchangeable thing to begin with. It's the most module part of the car, I thought. It's brakes. But then again, I assume for this car's case, it uses a really old style brakes that weren't, you know, drum brakes or disc brakes and stuff. Or no, I think it was drum brakes and then disc brakes. Yeah. So, very interesting on that. I would see, so I give the Jaguar that kind of excuse. I don't give the Celica that excuse because it's like a 90s car, you just can't change the brakes on it. So, it doesn't make any much sense. As such. That's it, let's go in the ring bit bean. Onto the criticized relay. Yeah, my goal is to see how quick I can get around a car, basically. Which, my skill level, close to professional, not exactly professional, so the professional says one done, well the professional says one done. Not much I can depend on that. You do you, I guess. If you learn how to do a better way to get around the track, you figured it out. I'm just showing at a pro casual level. You have casual, pro casual, pro. Or did I put that one? It's supposed to be casual, pro casual, pro. No. On to the left here, 133.724. Let's see what that shows. That beats. Oh, matter of fact, let's see what the time here is now. 133.529. That's not bad. That beats that barely beats the Integra. The Integra does a 133.6 round. Its opponent needs to be is the Mazda Miata RX, which gotta see for sure if it does. Let's see. This is just around the 5th lap too. So I'm trying to hightail it, trying to get as much momentum as I can to squeeze. I think on the tuning setup I did faster though, so if you've seen the tuning setup's time, I technically might have did faster than this time right there. So after checking, got kind of close. I'm kind of surprised on this, to be honest, on this lap, so you're about to see. Sort of close. Let's see. Going down the roller coaster lane. Yeah, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if someone turned around and made a roller coaster out of Force Raceway. That would be very interesting. So it just has the ups and downs, but yeah, 133.28. That still didn't really get enough, to be honest. But now onto Mount Panorama, which to say as a speed car, if I recall, this did like, I think this could straight up do 200 miles per hour. So that's why the gears might be a bit high. But yeah, as the thing goes, I tried to catch as much speed. Because yeah, when it comes to car setups, I know a good fact. That's probably a better, the more cellular your car, the better it is around the track for that said track. However, there's other tracks you gotta take into consideration if you want the most general build of a car. Then look no further than the builds I present, because that's what my builds aim for, is the most speed you can get out of the car and the most performance you can get out of the car. That's usually my goal when it comes to these cars and stuff. Because yeah, it is, because when I tune the cars, I tune them at the Force Raceway, but I do check Le Mans see how fast it goes on straightaway. If it goes this fast, I will up the gears and see if by time did it cut more or not. And chances are, in most of the cases, it does. But yeah, I think I recall this does do 200 on a non-chicane Le Mans. So, if not, I would say also 195 plus. So, for a speed type, that is definitely like 5 stars. Because for anything that hits 200, you got something that immediately blows out the competition. Without even trying. They're almost at like 180 there. That tells you just how quick right there is on the panorama straight. Or panorama straight, basically. Pretty crazy, or pretty crazy. That's actually. Anyways. Once you turn here, let's see how fast it goes on the first lap. Well, I say somewhat first lap, it's second lap, but 216.4, so it is up. So, again, there's like kind of say this is like the last of the pure Jaguars to actually have, but before they got basically, I don't know, I guess shuffled by the round like Aston Martin did. I do recall that. But 216 does not beat anything whatsoever right now. It's pretty bad. Surprisingly. Especially because it's upway, I'm guessing. This upway is kind of... And then also reminder that heavy braking might kill the whole top speed part of the car. So while it is fast, the problem is the controllability factor. It is a huge trade-off and stuff. I'm back on the downhill section here. But yeah, this is like one of the last of the Jaguar Pierce cars before, I think before the whole transaction between another company to another company to another company. If there's another famous transaction they had in collab, it was with Lotus, I believe, because Lotus at one point kind of owned them, considering the whole XJR9 Group C paint car a lot of people know about. And then you also had like other projects like the XJ220, and then I think there was a point where Ford partially owned them. I don't know if that was during the time of the XJ220, but I will say that. And such. Yeah, this is basically the last of the Pierce Jaguar, besides the Le Mans race car, but that got canned due to production values. Because I think that's when the company got transactioned and sold off. But yeah, during those years, Jaguar wasn't technically that good, besides if you want a boxy, Ford's voice of a Jaguar, basically. But yeah, on to the last lap, which did 214.3. That finally got on par with a couple contenders here. I still don't think it really did beat anyone though. However, it beat no one. It really didn't beat anyone just yet. It's close though. I will say very close to the Integra, at least by 3 tenths there. 3 tenths at 100ths. 100. Okay, come through the swivel lane. By the way, I don't know what all these lanes are actually called. I'm just calling based on how they just feel at the end of the day. And that one on the way on uphill just feels like the swivel lane. Well, I mean this whole part is like this swivel lane until the downhill here. You got the downhill snake. Slows down like a snake. Onto the spiral roundabout here. Yeah, it's possible the Jaguar might have did faster. Yes. to the big on the panorama straight. I say straight loosely because then there's this shoot off on it. It's like, oh crap. So yeah, you can definitely tell in some cases when I brake, the brakes do not work. It doesn't feel like it doesn't want to work at that speed. Kind of dangerous. Yeah, on to the last turnabout here. On straight on down. GT7, 212, 213, 214.097. It beat the Integra at least, but I don't think it really beat any other contenders on that map. Yeah, let's see. Yeah, it was that close to being the RX, but to say what events it could do, well, this is the very disappointing part for a Heritage race car. There is really not much you can do with this car besides World Touring Car 700 I've set up for this. If you give it sports hard tires, you could probably turn around and do World Touring 600 instead. You could might do the Heritage race one too if you lower to 580 maybe, because I think that allows old race cars to do that. I believe, I can't say for sure, but yeah. Now onto the race itself, the endurance race itself, which as a endurance racer is phenomenally good, which is not surprised because as a Le Mans racer, it's going to have great fuel tank. One thing, so it could technically survive up to 4 laps on Le Mans if you lean on one of the laps, which the lean is like 4 or 3. It's not too far off. I just know I went too lean after this lap here because I was debating whether to do 4 laps, but instead I went ahead and did it. But yeah, so overall, when it comes to the stats of this car, I have to say, for turning and acceleration 3, speed 5, fuel 5, because of the fact you can do 4 laps with this. So that's very impressive, and technically downright broken to these guys. It's kind of broken, except for like if you compare yourself to the Hurricane, which I kind of don't because this thing's already so fast enough, as if it just kind of destroys the competition for grade 4s as a medium difficulty. I can't say for much of a hard difficulty. I should technically try that, but as it stands, it is a kind of a world champion. So overall, if I have to give this a rating for this car, it's easily, I would say S, but high A. This thing is just a little monster on wheels. And one of the little monsters I've driven that is phenomenally good. The only problem, the biggest con to this, is the brakes. Because yeah, like I said, you have to early brake. Or otherwise you will be just holding that brake throttle throughout the whole way. Because then look how red that was there, my brake. If you don't know the brake, it's like right next to the ABS though. You just see that big red bar. It's like, oh my god. You better hope to God you're able to stop this sucker. But yeah, just looking at the racers and stuff, we have a regular grade 4 contenders, so stuff. But other than said, this little Jaguar is a champion, a very special champion. For a 1950s racer, this thing kicks ass. Oh my god, done racing sauce. Look how bad straight sauce were there. Jesus. Whole front tires are gone. That's like the Super 2 wheels. Which I do wonder, could he technically do 4 laps? Probably couldn't. I don't know. It really depends. Probably could have if he wasn't wearing sauce, but he's wearing sauce. Which I will say, when it comes to like tire wear, I don't think I would suggest sauce for this case, considering you kind of need that. You kind of don't really have like much turns going on here, anyways. This is kind of weird. And then you got these two going out here. But yeah, I will say, I will note, throughout this race, this is probably the weirdest rainwater one to me, because it was like debating whether to go heavy rain or not. It eventually did win heavy rain, I will say, in advance, but it's just really weird on this one. I guess, but yeah, for the first 2 laps, I immediately got up here to like 6th or 7th twice, I recall. So it really does haul butt at the end of it. And that's what's kind of disappointing. You don't have to be the quickest thing getting there. It's more likely just getting there and how well can you manage fuel and such. Because at the end of the day, that might be just where the victor's at. That's why high horsepower ain't the best thing to do. And if you believe high horsepower is the best thing to do, I have unfortunate news for you. Probably like burning your fuel tank. So, yeah, I decided to go ahead and just race through the rest of this with the lean tank on it. But yeah, like I said, I think I leaned it to 3 or 4, so in case you want to know. I should have put the lean on the time thing, but I didn't. Although, then people would probably merely lean, which you kind of don't want to lean. You want to just do like the first lap, 3 laps with a full non-lean, and then the last lap with a lean. Yeah, this car is just utterly broken in that case. I will say not the most broken one, because I do know another car in the future, and I already mentioned it unlike in the previous one, I believe. But yeah, overall the Jaguar is a pretty good car, and I have to give it like a high A. So I don't know to give things an S yet. They're pretty good though. Oh yeah, it's also got a car horn too, I believe. I think it's got a car horn. I know. Oh, that's a plus for old race car. I'm watching the other racers taking a big old hit in the rain now, because yeah, I believe it's about to hit 1/2 now, and once that hits that 1/2 part, it's where it gets bad. So now to say what awarded the Jaguar type eventually on the Mans, I think funny enough was either Mercedes or it was Aston Martin at that point. So I think that's when the SLS showed up. Oh yeah, and this happened. I wonder what happened there. And one second. Do it right. Let's see. He just really wheeled out. Yeah, he hit the wall. I don't know how you do that, but then again, you're on racing cars in the rain, which is not a great idea. So yeah, these guys should have changed, and they didn't. Oh no, I take that back. They did. Technically, they also, yeah, because they fueled and then they didn't change the tires. It's like, okay, just stay in the racing hard tires. I had a reason in my case because I was technically fine by then, which I will say I am definitely hitting the effects now at this point. That's not over to me yet. Just showing other contenders real quick. At least the BMW played smart and went to M tires. Cause yeah, I was in a huge debate whether to do this or not. And then there's me, because just to say, I definitely did spun out there as we showed at the back. Or no, I didn't spun out. I think it's more like the brakes did not work at all. Cause yeah, this is the case where the brakes just do not work. Oh god! Okay, we're fine. Back to racing. Which is basically the last lap for me to talk to you, because the rest I'll just let you guys watch and stuff. It's just, yeah, at the end of the day, it's like, this is a glorified champion of Grade 4, basically, this whole car. And yeah, I don't want to show the whole endurance, because I don't want y'all to hear for that long, to be honest. I'll show a degree at least, though, they can do it. As long as it's at medium difficulty. I mean, unless it was like 700 pp down too hard. Because there's really no point of not to. Oh yeah, I do love that. They just struggle to shift the car to and up of it. But then again, I gotta remind myself to run on automatics too. Yeah, that's the part about it. They only drive me, so drive automatics. Apparently. Yeah, just trying to easy draw it, because I think I noticed it was trying to cut through there, like really bad. Like I said, it was like around 3 or 4. Yeah, that basically just ends that at this point, because I will say, I didn't change my tires throughout this. I should have changed my tires at that point right there. I just didn't bother to. Because yeah, then the Viper caught up with me at this point. Very much so, and rightfully deserved, because yeah, I should have realized, like, you know, I probably should just switch to the other tires, because I will say, like, even at the wetter, like, what's supposed to say, if it coasts, if it's just even a simple coast, once it hits that 1/2, you really want to get in tires no matter what. Oh my god, almost hit that. Jesus. I need to go pit. Oh my god. But yeah, there's not really much of a new, very competitive contenders. Well, except the Viper. The Viper was actually being a contender there at best. But yeah, that basically just ends this for Mom's race at the end of the day, and basically that's all they're really discussed about when it comes to the Jaguar GT7. It's kind of a champion at the end of the day. So, I thank you for watching this, and I will see you guys next time. You guys take care, and ciao.